guys, this is Burke from Modern Seamstress, and I wanted to do something a little different today. I wanted to do a review of my 2018 planner, which is from Jane's Agenda. And I had been eyeing this notebook for several months for two different reasons. The first is I love the heavy-duty spiral binding. Most spiral-bound notebooks are kind of flimsy, and after a while the spirals sort of pull or get deformed, or they come out altogether. So I was very impressed by the binding on this notebook. And I also loved the fact that you could get 360 pages, which is actually 180 sheets of paper. This is the mid size. It's 7 inches by 9 inches. And this is a printable sticker that I made. And I ordered this in dot grid paper. And I've already started setting it up for 2018. And this paper, I have to comment on this first things first. I did a pen test in the back here. Let me show you this first. Okay, so here I have my Tombow markers, and then I have my Zebra Mildliners. I have my Triplus fine liners. I've got my Flair pens. I've got all my regular writing pens. The Le Pen, the Precise, the Inkjoy, the Pilot, the Pitt, Precise, Sharp, and then Micron pens. And then I've got my Crayola SuperTip pens here as well. And I'm going to flip this over so you can see it. Okay, now what you will see here, and it's coming across really well in the video as well, you can barely see some of the Crayola markers. That's the darkest marker that I used. Everything else is basically invisible. This paper is amazing quality. I can't remember if it's 90 or 120 GSM, but there is no bleed through on this paper. So if you're used to using a Leuchtturm or a Moleskine notebook, where you have to be very careful using darker colors, have no fear with the Jane's Agenda notebook. You can also get this notebook in graph paper or lined paper, and I think also in plain, and I really like dot grids, so I got the dot grid paper. And I went ahead and started setting up for 2018. I'm just going to flip through some of this here. So this is my yearly overview, and I've color-coded based on my 2 businesses plus my personal life, and then have a place for birthdays. I also ordered some stickers from Etsy, and I will link that shop below because they're gorgeous. I have my index on the next page, and then I go right into future logs for just the first 4 months. I wanted to sort of I don't know, just do something differently with planning, and instead of looking at the entirety of 2018, which can be overwhelming, only looking at 4 months at a time when I do future planning and strategic thinking. And the reason behind that is that last year I sat down and I did a ton of goals for 2017, and one of my businesses failed due to, not for lack of trying on my part, failed for reasons completely outside of my control, and most of my goals were related to that business. And there's just it didn't seem realistic to me to sit down and write out 12 months of goals when there's so much that can happen when you're an entrepreneur, and sometimes you don't know what's going to happen and you can't account for it. So I have my future log for January, February, March, and April. Just going to keep flipping through here. And then I did a spread for goals. So these are goals for the venue that I run, Modern Seamstress, and then personal goals, just January through April, because again, I want this to be obtainable. I then created a social media tracker I've never really done one of these before, but now that most of my attention is going to be on those other two businesses, I need to keep track of when I'm writing, when I'm posting to Instagram, when I'm doing YouTube, and then when I'm engaging the Facebook pages that I have for both. And then I have some goals for each month, and this is going to be a place where I come up with themes. For the venue that I run, I do profiles on the performing artists, and so this will help me map out who I need to speak to and do interviews with and when I need to post those. And then I launched into a wellness spread. So this is based on Stephen Covey's basically 4 areas of Sharpen the Saw: physical, emotional, social, intellectual, and spiritual. And I wrote out some goals for each one. This is also a new spread. I've never done a habit tracker before, but I went ahead and laid this out, and I made an error, to track yoga, journaling, healthy diet, sewing for myself, and then I've got boxes for 2 more that'll probably end up being like water or vitamins or reading or whatever. But I thought I would give a habit tracker a try, and then I have it mainly laid out for March and April. I just have to go in and add the other lines, or decide if I even want to add the other lines, because it takes forever. And then I created a gratitude log. I've been wanting to do one of these for a while, and I've spent the last 6 months through a very stressful life period. And in some of the cognitive behavior stuff I read and some of the stress reduction stuff I was learning about to cope with that, one of the things was gratitude. And so I want to keep a gratitude log this year. And I'll probably end up doing something like a sentence a day as well, just because I think that's a cool way to kind of, at the end of the year, go back and see how far you've come. So this is by far probably one of the best notebooks I've ever had my hands on, and every pen I use looks great. The paper is nice and bright white, so if you're used to a Leuchtturm, it has a little bit of a yellow tan tint. This is like a bright white paper, which I love. It really makes all the colors pop. You also get a little thing here, I don't know, elastic closure, I guess is what that's called. And the cover, these are actually removable, so you can get different ones if you want. And then they make dashboards that you can put in, which I probably need to get some of those as like tab dividers. But you can replace or, switch these up if you want. It's not terribly, it does bend, so you have to be careful of that, but I keep enough things in my purse where I can pretty much stick this in and it's not going to get bent. So this is not an affiliate post or anything like that. I just really love this notebook, and I had really been kind of lusting after it, and then finally decided to get it for myself for Christmas. Shipping all in with as many pages, I think it was around $60. Well worth the money, I think. I'd be really surprised if I could fill all of this in the new year, but we'll see. So yeah, I hope that this was helpful, and I hadn't seen another video like this on these notebooks, but this is it's a small business. It's a female-owned business. I think she has one other employee with her, and I ordered this. It was supposed to arrive the Friday after Thanksgiving. It arrived the day before Thanksgiving. So I'm very impressed with this. So, and I love to support small businesses, being a small business owner myself. I will link everything below, and if you have any questions or comments, feel free to write them below as well. And I will see you guys next week with a sewing post. Thanks, guys.